Good afternoon. I don't know who took the top of the lectern off. Now I have to use my glasses, so bear with me. It's interesting that Joel took the opportunity to speak sort of candidly about what he did, because you may think you're off the hook now, but now I'm going to speak candidly to the rest of you. So we're going to talk a little bit. When we talk about the state of Haskell and how things are, I think it's very important that we also sort of take a look inward and look at what we're doing and look at what we can do better. We have talked about some of these issues, and I think it's very important to, although this is somewhat of a public forum, it's sort of one thing to go to be a little bit more transparent, but also sort of go on record and talk about what we're working on. Anyway, thank you for coming. I appreciate the good turnout today. I actually may be able to read this without seeing much. I prepared a few words. Of course, welcome to you. I'm encouraged by the turnout. My objective today is to provide you with an overview of our progress and plans to improve our services in this State of the University address. I think it's appropriate to recognize the efforts of our faculty and staff in making it through a challenging and at times tenuous experience in 2011 and of course the months or years that preceded that. I want to recognize the time and contributions also of our volunteers, and particularly those staff and faculty who continue to work at Haskell and provide instruction to our students and their co-workers well beyond their retirement eligibility years. Finally, I want to extend and applaud our students, both continuing and new, in your choice to attend Haskell. Haskell is the place to be. The fact has resonated in students' choice to attend and an employee's choice to work here. The staying power of the institution is clearly a resolve of people like you. Later in my presentation, I'm going to direct my remarks to students, staff, and community. For now, I want to focus on the current state of the university. At this time, Haskell is in a state of transition. As we move forward in 2012, we will challenge our campus to help Haskell evolve in ingenuity and ideals which improve our first-year experience programs and services to retain students and improve our overall graduation rate. Student success at Haskell is our primary business. According to a report issued by Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce, students who obtain a bachelor's degree earn 31% more than workers with an associate's degree, and nearly 1/3 more than those who just have a high school diploma. Further, the report states that about 1/3 of the bachelor's degree holders go on to obtain graduate degrees. In fact, as I reviewed the report on accomplishments from staff and faculty, many of their accomplishments were changes to meet the needs of students. This is indicative of the overall sense of responsibility that faculty and staff uphold their support of students. I would be remiss if I did not state that we have some areas that we need improvement in. As a part of this process of change this spring, the university will undergo a strategic planning process. Basically, this means that we will be bringing somebody in, a neutral and outside party, to work with the university to facilitate, not to do it for us, but to facilitate this process. Our policies and procedures will be solidified and codified and made more fluid so that they can help keep up with the changes and trends in higher education. This will be done, not be done arbitrarily, but required input from all facets of the campus and community. We will hopefully begin the first phase of this process in February. Transparency will be the key to ensure this process is successful. So today I want to state what I see as one of our most essential areas of improvement. This is student engagement. Data and history demonstrates that student engagement far exceeds the benefits of recruitment alone. We can no longer rely on admission numbers alone. We must do everything within our ability to make advances in engaging students from the time they are admitted to Haskell, within our ability to make advances, give them the tools that they need to matriculate from one semester to another and with their degrees and goals and aspirations. Student Senate sponsored student campus clubs and Haskell Indian Leader newspaper, representation on Board of Regents, sitting on the university council meetings are only the least we can do to engage our students or give them a voice. Students helped spearhead recycling efforts on the campus this year. Students established a business agreement with a vendor to provide laundry services that much improved their old ones. Students at Haskell are organizing tribal meetings on environment issues and climate change. Is all of this unique for student bodies or campuses? Not necessarily, but Haskell shouldn't be an exception to these practices taking place on our campus. I have many topics and comments today that I intend to be candid about. None of them should be received as negative, but rather sort of a call to arms, or arming yourselves with an attitude to move forward and reject the mistakes of the past. After today, I may be criticized for addressing some of these items in such an open forum, as I said. But it's my belief that to go on record with such issues, we effectively demonstrate an attempt at solidarity by publicly pronouncing our resolve that will inevitably foster in a level of accountability. This year I challenge students, families of students, faculty and staff, and community to stand with me on issues that continually assault and target our young people and victimize the vulnerable among our student body: alcohol and chemical dependency, violence and domestic abuse, and sexual abuse and assault, primarily against women. I'm placing the perpetrators of such detestable and immoral acts on notice. Whether you're among us or outside, I refuse to rest until our campus is safe, and I'll use every resource available or obtainable to ensure that this behavior is dealt with. I hear these reports every year, and it's heartbreaking that one student should have to go through this. Haskell students may be adults, but as president of this university, I accept the well-being of these students as my responsibility. And just as I would my own children or grandchildren, I refuse to tolerate actions that perpetrate neglect, abuse, or maltreatment of this family. I challenge our Student Services Department, along with every employee at Haskell, to do more to develop and support policies that will provide students with added safety and assurance so that they can walk on these campus grounds, attend classes, participate in activities, and return to dormitory free of fear for concern of their safety. Our students residing off campus, I encourage programs and initiatives that promote practices among students preventing overindulgence, carelessness, commuting alone, or engaging in other unsafe practices. I challenge the dormitory staff to develop and step up efforts to make these dorms where there are safe havens for each student, and for each of you to personally deny anyone that enters your dorm the opportunity to threaten the security of your students. In addition, I look for ways to reward and promote employee actions that successfully produce outcomes and bring additional funding or initiatives for campus security, prevention interventions, and ultimately reduce rates of alcohol and substance abuse, vandalism, bullying, domestic abuse, violence, harassment, as well as counseling for victims of such issues. Counseling should also be made available to those addressing other social or behavioral challenges that contribute to these issues, which fall within the scope of what can reasonably be managed in a campus environment.